Here we go with section 2.3, which is literal equations. And what that means is we're going to take an equation and we're going to solve it for a specific variable. Okay, so we'll have an equation that has more than one variable. If we look at this one, I have n and p, and the problem is going to tell me to solve this equation for n. So I'm trying to get n by itself. At the end, I won't have n equal to a number. I will just have n equal to another expression because I have two variables, so I can't solve n for a number. But we're going to follow the same rule. So if I'm trying to get n by itself, I got to work backwards, start away from n. So I'm going to subtract 6p from both sides. All right. And on the left side, 15 minus 6p, those are not like terms, so I can't combine them. So it's just 15 minus 6p. There's nothing I can do there. Okay, and on the right side, I have 3n left. The last step I need is to divide by 3. Now, when I come over here on this side, I need to divide every single term by 3. So every time I see a plus or minus sign, I need to divide by 3 again. Everything has to be divided by 3. So 15 divided by 3 would give me 5. Negative 6 divided by 3 would give me negative 2p, and that's going to be equal to n. This is where I would stop. I can't do anything else. I have n by itself equal to some other expression. All right, let's look at another example. I have k minus 2 over 5, and that's equal to 11j. I'm solving this for k, so I'm trying to get k by itself. So I'm going to work away from k, work backwards. First thing I need to do is multiply everything by 5. So now I have k minus 2 equals 55j. And then I need to get rid of this 2, so I'm going to add 2 to both sides. K is equal to, again, 55j and 2 are not like terms because the 2 doesn't have a j with it. So they get written out as separate terms, 55j plus 2. All right. Here, this example, we're going to solve for t. All right. Now, normally when we see something outside parentheses, we would want to distribute, but if I did that, I would have t times r, and then I would have 4t, and now I have two different t's that I can't combine because they're not like terms, and I don't want two different t's because I'm trying to get t by itself. So instead of using the distributive property, this is t times the whole quantity r plus 4. So what I'm going to do is just divide by that entire quantity. I'm going to divide by r plus 4. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And now this I'm not going to simplify. I'm just going to leave as 28 over r plus 4 because I'm dividing by that whole quantity. Okay, and that's going to be equal to t. All right, in this next example right here, now we're solving for q. All right, because q is inside the parentheses, there's two different ways that we can solve this, and I'm going to show you both. The first is we can distribute. All right, so I would have a times q minus 8 times a, and that's going to be equal to 23. Okay, and then I can solve this for q, so I'm going to add 8a, add 8a. Alright, so a times q is equal to, again, these are not like terms, so 23 plus 8a, and then I would need to divide by a, and over here, I have to divide both terms by a. So I would have q is equal to 23 divided by a, can't be simplified, and then 8a divided by a would give me just 8. Okay? The other way that we can do this is I don't have to distribute. I can get rid of the a first because remember this is a times this whole quantity, so I can just divide by a. Alright, then on this side my a's would cancel out, so I have q minus 8, and that's going to be equal to 23 over a. Then to get the 8 to the other side, I would have to add 8, so q is equal to, this has an a, this one doesn't, so they're not like terms, so 23 over a plus 8, which is exactly the same as I got doing it this way. So again, just like we talked about before, whichever way you're most comfortable with, distributive property or just dividing to start. All right, now we're going to take this one step further. We have to translate this verbal expression into an equation first, and then we can solve for t. So I have 7 less than a number t. Remember, less than means reverse, so I would have t minus 7 equals another number r plus 6, and then I'm going to solve that for t. So I'm going to get t by itself. I'm going to add 7 to both sides. All right, and t is going to be equal to 7 can be combined with 6, but it can't be combined with r, so I have r plus 13. All right, here's another example where you have to translate and then solve. So I want you to pause here, try this on your own, and then come back and check your answer. Here's what it should look like. So I wrote it out: 10 plus 8 times the number a, there it is algebraically, equals 11 times the number d minus 6. And then I solved for a, got a by itself. Make sure that you're dividing every term by 8 when you get here. All right, if you messed something up and don't understand why I put a star by this, you can ask about it in class. All right, last question, and this is why we do literal equations, why we solve for things, because if I have a formula like this is a geometry formula. You have formulas in chemistry and physics that you would use, and sometimes, V, volume, isn't always the missing thing. Sometimes we know the volume and we're missing one of the sides. All right, so the first thing they asked us to do is solve the formula for W. So I have V equals length times width times height. Now, these are all being multiplied, okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and divide out what I don't need. I want the W by itself, so I'm going to divide by L and H at the same time. All right, so now V over LH equals W, so I solve the formula for W. Find the width of a rectangular prism, so W is my missing piece, that has a volume of 79.04, so that's going to be V, 79.04, divided by a length of 5.2 and a height of 4, so I'm multiplying those two on the bottom. All right, and I need my calculator. I need to take care of this multiplication on the bottom first, because remember the fraction acts as a grouping symbol, so I have to have one number and one number before I can divide. All right, 5.2 times 4 is 20.8. All right, now I have one number on the top, one number on the bottom, so I can go ahead and divide those. And 79.04 divided by 20.8 is 3.8. And everything else is centimeters, so this is centimeters, so my width is 3.8 centimeters. All right, make sure you go back and fill out the Google form, and I'll see you guys in class.